Hey, buongiorno, everybody. This is Nebraska, and it's time for
TC and Jake.
a lesson of 4.
So are you having money troubles? Is this the start of an intervention? A financial intervention?
Because I haven't paid you?
It's past the inauguration,
It
dude.
is. I thought about that the other day.
It's $500.
I know. Listen, I'll get it to you Friday.
It's the perfect amount of money where, like, despite my previous statements, it is like I'm not going to forget about $500.
No, and I haven't forgotten about it.
But it is like it's not like like if it was 10,000, I'd be like, yeah, he needs some time. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay if he settles that bet up 4 months after the fact.
No, I'll be settling it up
$500.
2 weeks
less.
after the fact.
2
weeks after the fact. By the way, and I'm surprised neither one of us did this, and I think
Logan Dav, I want to be clear to everyone, has not settled up. So Logan Dav, if you're listening, you owe me $100, you son of a bitch.
He's buzzing you. I paid the lady, I bet, one of our 1%ers of female IJB fans. I paid her $100.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. But I was always planning on doing it after the inauguration. You know, sometimes you might end up with a nice
I thought like
Hail
a
Mary.
minute after would be an appropriate time.
I'll get
given
it to you this Friday.
It's a bit of a disputed timeline anyways, as we've seen.
Yeah, dude, I have like a weird deal, and I think, and I don't think my wife loves when I do this, but I, like when I get paid, I don't use a checking account at all, like to buy stuff. I use a credit card for everything.
Okay,
and then pay it off. And so, I will a lot of times
Try and get them miles, dude.
I a lot of times will literally have no money in my checking account because I'm either putting it in.
That seems like a bad idea.
I put it either in. I mean, like I'll have a few $100 at any given time.
Okay, well, I mean, you said no.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like what I think most people do. So I'll go to cash savings, or I'll go to paying down the credit card, and then we just start over again. And I feel weird about taking money out of savings once I put it in because it feels like such a huge hurdle to get it there in the first place. So when we get paid again Friday,
I hear you, but
I will take care of you.
These are all compelling reasons not to make bets. If you don't, if when I offered it, you were like, I don't really like to take out savings, so I'm probably going to pass.
No, it was kind of the perfect bet. Because obviously,
because it's one that you would lose.
Now the guy that one of our faves, as Pelosi's
daughter.
It was a daughter. I know we just talked about that, but didn't get what we wanted out of it. That would have been worth $500 to me. The outcome we did get, maybe worth $75. So I am paying a bit of an exorbitant fee for the, hey, but at least Trump's not president anymore. And so that's worth some money. I did, I built that in a little bit. I think the people in my neighborhood are getting a pool made.
The people in your neighborhood?
That we are staring at right now out the window.
No, they're quite definitely getting a pool made.
Is that what it is? There were just like 7 trucks over there this morning, and your car looks like it's in danger right now.
No, dude. I mean, because if you look on the other side, I've been dealing with this. This is not important on the podcast.
No,
we have so many big things to get to.
Yeah, we do.
But I did them a favor putting it there. I mean, honestly, I'm not supposed to be that close to that stop sign.
Right.
I moved it up because I thought about this eventuality, and if they wanted it different, they could have put it a different place. Fuck them.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree. So yeah, I'll get you your cash.
Thank you.
Which you'll immediately use to buy BlackBerry stock with.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I know where we're headed with this.
Ooh, I forgot. Yeah, we can do it tomorrow. I do have an old Oprah clip I want you to watch.
Always down.
Okay.
Absolutely always down.
That's for tomorrow. Just for the Patreon folks. Only $5 for the audio.
I do want to get this in real quick before we get to the stonks. We were both sent this email a couple weeks ago by a man named Kevin. He said, after spending over a decade in the Android ecosystem, I decided to jump the fence and purchase my first ever iPhone, which is a 12 Pro, he says, which is totally normal size. So find a new slant. He's right. After listening to last week's Patreon edition of IJB.
They are right about the computer thing, though.
Which was what?
It's an oddly oversized computer.
This one is?
Well, it's just 2 inches smaller than mine. So whenever we sit next to each other with both of our computers open,
you're right about that. Yeah, it does look funny next to your tiny little poodle, your compoodle.
No, this is a normal size computer.
He said, after last week's Patreon, I searched for Masked Singer and read a couple of articles about Elizabeth Smart's appearance. Now that I've done that, Apple has determined that my interests consist entirely of depraved, highly sexualized crime. And I have attached a screenshot.
Oh, you like that raping? I heard you like raping.
Default suggestions are anytime I'm about to type anything into my phone. And yeah, he sent it to us, and it's Elizabeth Smart, bride kidnapping, and Ariel Castro kidnappings. Are the
I
first
forgot about
three.
that one.
Ariel Castro?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know how it came back up the other day. What am I doing here?
Nah, nothing. You're good.
I don't know how it came back up the other day, but somehow it was the talk of Twitter for a couple hours. And dude, Charles Ramsey, the guy who is
Oklahoma receiver.
no.
Charleston Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the black guy who was interviewed by the news outside and gave one of the most memorable eyewitness accounts of all time.
Yeah.
Because he found them.
Yeah.
He saw them, trying to get out and
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
and he's
it's like the hide your kids, hide your wife, except for that person hadn't done anything.
Right. They were just, this dude literally was. Yeah.
Yo.
And if you, you should go watch it as soon as you're done with this, because he's the one, he gave the, when I see a pretty little white girl run into a black man's arms, I know something's going on. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. And the news is like, I don't really know what to make of that. It's funny.
I don't want to dispute
but I don't
him.
want to laugh.
Yeah.
Charles Ramsey. And he probably was paid handsomely for that act of good Samaritania.
Not how it works. He doesn't do it for the money, dude. Does it for the lives, for saving lives.
So how much you make?
We're up like 360%, I believe, right now in the portfolio.
But how did we start raw number?
$10.
Okay.
So I've made 36.
I thought there was at least a decent chance that because you're pretty plugged in, that you had maybe gone with 100 or a few hundred.
No, because I was so.
And is it all GameStop, or have you diversified into other?
Today we dipped our toe
traders?
in the AMC waters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I bought $10 worth of GameStop stock. So this has been a really frustrating, like a lot of emotions, but like definitely a lot of frustration, because most of the time I would say it does not bother me that we do the podcast A, twice a week, and B, now on back-to-back days.
Yeah.
So you are leaving we walked into the nightmare scenario. If I find out something interesting Friday morning, it's the following Wednesday, the next time I have to say something about it. And on Friday, I would have caught this clean as like, you definitely had never heard of it. Like because I want to give full credit. It's Troy. Troy DM'd me Friday morning and was like, you heard about this GameStop stuff. And I was
Troy,
like,
who once actually got Clarice Tinsley to spell out the word cunt letter by letter on Fox 4.
a talented man.
Yeah, he had a couple bangers in Fox 4's Your Turn viewer's voice.
He's done a lot of things for the podcast over the years.
Yeah.
And so he sent me the DM, was like, you heard about this, kind of gave me the brief outline and like a couple places to look, and I'm diving in and finding out. And really just because I want to follow the story, like I put the $10 down because I
know what you mean.
At this point, like GameStop stock was trading at $4 as of I think a couple weeks ago. Certainly most of the last several years. Like if you go on the look at like the 5-year outlook for the stock, it's not real volatile. It's around there, and there is $4 fucking dollars. So when I bought it, it was 70. So 4 to 70. I was like, boy, this seems like a bit of a bubble. And I think it was starting to go back down. I think after I bought it, because if you look at the thing, there's like an early peak and then a drop. And so I'm like at the top of that early peak, and I'm like, well, look at my fucking dumbass.
It's Bitcoin all over again.
Glad it was only $10. Yeah, exactly. Because that's exactly what I did. The first like big Bitcoin spike, I bought at the very top of it. I mean, I didn't I think I lost, I don't know, $10, $20. But just whenever you're intending to make big bucks, losing money is not exciting.
And had you stuck around in that first spike, you would have $25 to $30 right now.
I have some alternative investments that I'm more interested in at this time.
Okay.
So we buy in at 70 and then I'm like, this is dumb. It's starting to drop already. Whatever. But it's $10. That was the point. So let's just see it out. And today it is now like what, 350?
Yeah, that's where it closed.
Yeah. So I think that like I was preparing for this as if I'm telling everyone something that they had never heard of, and now literally everyone in the world has heard of it. But I think that there's a lot of people who like it's probably Easter baskets for them, right? Like, okay, whatever. I understand that hedge funds are having a bad time, and that this Reddit board is having a good time, and the GameStop is involved somewhere. And that's about it. So I'm ready to talk more in depth if you'd like to.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's somewhat driven home for a lot of people by, I think sometimes people don't like hearing about financial stories that did not benefit them.
Yeah, but this one does still, and I mean, I think that's why the price has shot up. The bigger the stories become, obviously, is because like people think,
keep buying.
Maybe this is going to involve me.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that in plenty of this stuff, I'm not going to talk like someone who understands stonks. I'm going to talk like someone who does. But like I think that's most of like. I just would have figured if we have any Wall Street traders on the podcast that they're going to find this incomplete. But if you're not, then maybe, there's something informational, educational, entertaining in it.
You're going to explain it like a guy who got the tip and spent $10.
Yeah. But
I think that's probably the best way to...
every time something like this comes up, or like whenever I watch the movie The Big Short, I have to go and relearn. Like I know in general what a short is. Like I know that the intent is that you think that the stock price will go down and you want a way to make money off of that.
Right. You're betting and borrowing.
But the mechanics I always have to remind myself. So they are fresh now. It is that you're selling someone stock that you have not yet purchased.
Right.
So that if you sell it to them at $1 and then you buy it later at 50 cents, then you've made 50 cents whenever you complete the transaction.
And you've made them whole.
Yeah. They got the one stock that they were intending to get. So you got this Reddit board, the Wall Street Bets, and I think that, I don't spend any time on Wall Street Bets, although, maybe I will now that I've got this little nest egg.
Yeah, I can get loose with it. A dude who listens to us a lot and has for some time hit me up and was like, I first got on this in 2016. And I think at that point it might have been...
They have been talking about it for a while.
500,000, maybe 600,000 members, and it's 2.5 million now.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty. That's got to be like.
I thought you meant you got in on GameStop in 2016. I think I think it's been certainly months, possibly years, that like there have been some people being like, "This is pretty short." Like, I'm not sure that it's a good idea. I'm going to buy some and see, because you know about deep fucking value. It's kind of jumping ahead.
I do.
But that he's the one that has sounded the alarm, early and most often, and his total investment up front over time was $700,000, which always makes me kind of like it's just supposed to be like it's just regular Joes putting it to the billionaires. I don't know anyone else who has $700,000 to invest.
See, I thought I heard that it was 50.
I think he initially bought
was 50 and then.
But it's not like he sold it and bought it back. Like he put in more.
Okay.
So he has put in $700,000. I think it's like 770, because he posts like the screenshots of his stuff.
Yeah, you're right. That's not quite the boy. I'll just be out on my ass if this doesn't.
Neither is 50. I don't know. But 50,000 to invest.
But I
get what you're saying.
A lot of people who are, let's say, like you've been in the workforce for 2 decades, you might have $50,000. Whether it's in portfolios or cash savings, that's not that elitist.
I would bet that most of it's out of stocks now, but I'm sure that my parents had more than 50,000 invested in various things that were going to go to their retirement.
Golf course people. You kidding me?
Not on a golf course now, dude.
They wanted you to be able to get over the fence this time around.
So you got this Wall Street Bets, and kind of how this is functioning a little bit is just if someone puts up a post and says like, hey, here's what I'm buying, here's why I think it's a good idea. I think there's like a legal disclaimer that you have to say, like, do your own research. Because anytime whenever I'm reading about this, people will always like throw it, like universally will tag at the end, like, do your own research.
I felt like I needed to do that whenever we were just discussing it today.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how many times I was like, we're the dumbest people you could possibly hear talk about this, I still felt like saying, hey, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. And then maybe just as a little Salt Bay, I would use the word fiduciary.
There you go.
Just
Nice.
kind of let him know.
Well, I mean, he's saying fiduciary. I feel like I have to follow his tips. He knows the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Wall Street Bets, someone puts out like, I've been looking at this stock, here's why I think it's a good idea. And then hypothetically, some people read it and they like agree with them and they buy it. And if you've got this extra demand, and it's not like the company is issuing new shares as a result of this Reddit post, or it's not like you've got other people that are feeling motivated to sell just because of the Reddit post. So it's probably going to create some demand, and in a neutral setting, that's not the supply is not affected, so the price is going to go up. And like most of the time, it's like it's up a fraction of a penny or something like that, right? Not that big a deal. One of the things that you would look for, though, if you are one of those Wall Street Bets people, is if you're controlling the demand, like that's what you're attempting to skew with your post, is you want to increase demand. So you want something where that supply is going to stay static as much as you can. Like you don't want people to sell at the same time, because it's all, I'm going to talk, I'm going to say the word supply and demand a lot here because that's, how I understand economics.
Yeah. And when something is finite, it's easier to zero in on the human behavior part of it.
And so whenever it's a hedge fund making a short, whenever a hedge fund is shorting something and the price is going up, they're motivated not to sell because the moment they sell, they're just taking that loss. Like it's, whenever your Bitcoin was doing bad, you would often tell me that you don't have losses until you sell.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is also the mindset that they operate with. So if you can, use your Wall Street Bets posts to increase demand on a stock that is being shorted by an institutional investor. You like that one? It's
that's
not
a
fiduciary,
really good one.
But it's pretty good.
That's a really good one. Those are not retailers.
That's right.
It's not retail buyers.
That's right.
Callers even.
And so then they're not going to sell the stock to flood it in. You're going to have more demand, same amount of supply. Price is going to shoot up. And all of this is kind of like setting out kindling for the wildfire, right? And what the spark you need there is if you ever do have something come along, like if you do enough of this, if you get enough of, Wall Street Bets people buying up this stock and institutional investors refusing to sell it, and then there comes along actual good news and like people are buying this for not fucking around reasons, that's the spark. And now we're fucking California in summer, brother.
Which I think the buyer that you referenced actually did have some positive opinions about the future of the company. Maybe not enough to go in the way that he did, but actually did believe
Absolutely.
At a small level, like that there is a pivot available here. They're not to blockbuster level yet. They will still have some place in the market, and it's worth more than $2 or $4.
And basically, he was saying those things well before now, but the two big things that swung GameStop's way to like kind of, because I'm talking about these things in hypothetical, of like the Wall Street Bets posts are going to increase demand. If the demand is against a shorted stock, then it's going to be more beneficial. The most shorted stock on the stock market was GameStop. 138% of GameStop's
Yeah.
available shares were shorted.
And I guess one thing I didn't know was that that's easy to find out.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw it on a video. I couldn't
Yeah,
figure it
but
out
I didn't
for you.
know. Like, I mean, I don't. I mean, I guess you can figure that out and find out who exactly is purchasing these things and making the bets. But I didn't. It makes sense. I guess I just never really thought about that. You can pretty quickly call it up like it's the BCS standings or
Yeah,
something. You're like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah,
well,
you know.
right there at the top.
Well, if you want to keep on, like I heard you talking on the phone with your bank, trying to to figure out their, trading app or whatever. So you might need to know that now. You might need to find out. I know you know how to go to ESPN NCAAF rankings.
Yeah,
You're gonna need
It'll
to find it
autocomplete.
out for the other one.
like Ariel Castro.
So GameStop's the most shorted stock. Like basically that, like they shouldn't have shorted it. You shouldn't short anything nearly that much. Like I guess you could be right, but like shorting in general, it's just a very fucking risky thing to do. Like if you buy $100 worth of stock and it goes down to zero, then you've lost $100. But like the most you can lose in that situation is $100. If you short $100 worth of stock, there's no cap on losses. Like, this is a very basic thing. Anyone on Wall Street Bets can tell you this. I'm saying this incredulously, but it's I know it's not groundbreaking, but it's fucking true. And it does, like, it stresses me out when I think about it. Like, honestly, the whole thing, like, it should matter, I think. I mean, whatever. No one's going to name me the top person in a hedge fund, and that's fine. They shouldn't. I'm not ready. But looking at it as a regular guy, like, selling shit you don't have is a bad idea.
Yeah, but it's worked a lot of times.
Yeah, like, sometimes it'll work, but, like, it's not, I don't know.
And if you have
I
enough
don't know.
money,
I don't want to do it.
If
Do
you have enough
want to do it?
Well, no, but I mean, if you're working with a fund that has billions of dollars in it, then you can probably
Has billions now, might not next week.
No. And I saw Brick tweet this. Like, we're about 36 hours from the first suicide related to this.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
And it may have already happened, and it simply hasn't been reported on, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
We can get into what's going on with the funds. I have that information available, but it's not that bad yet. But we'll see. And actually, I think that the main one did close out yesterday. So like now they're just
They're done.
Yeah, they don't want any more at GameStop. They're gonna do some other stuff.
Well, see, that to me, that was another thing that I guess I didn't really understand, which is like all of this, which I mean is just the idea that at that point when you want to get out, you still have to buy.
Yeah.
So if you still have to buy,
they
it's
just
still
ate the
going
loss.
to go up.
Yeah.
And so, I've
And
seen,
it's like because of the dynamics, it's harder to sell.
Right.
Like, I mean, I guess there's plenty of people that were interested, but just the amount of like actual GameStop stock is very tight. Like, which is part of the like that's a necessary condition for this, shoot up. But yeah, so you've got this situation where GameStop is heavily shorted, and we got a bunch of Wall Street Bets people saying that the short is incorrect. And the good news that occurred was one, the former CEO of Chewy.com, a Dallas-based company, I believe.
boy, a lot of Dallas bass going on here.
Because I've definitely given Uber rides to the Chewy.com fulfillment center or whatever. And so the Chewy.com CEO and two of his boys from Chewy.com buy a bunch of GameStop stock and get board seats.
Yeah.
And the other thing that happens, and I don't want to say that like this is just me or anything. I mean, it's a lot of people, but the PlayStation 5 launch really did a lot for GameStop.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were in every single story you saw about it of people trying to go from place to place, possibly even to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
To make sure they could grab their console. But
I mean, I'm sure it's good for a lot of people. You could buy them several different places. But if someone had like just pointed out, like, just look at like the long history of GameStop stock. Every time there's a new console cycle starts, it shoots way up.
yeah, but I still understand the thinking that this is a company that is on its way down.
Yeah. So to examine that part of it, first of all, I wanted to have a little conversation with you. I figured you'd be very open to this. Why do we call them brick and mortar? Weird fucking term. Who talks about mortar? Like, most of them are made of concrete. Why are the fucking construction materials how we use to designate these stores? Weird thing.
Yeah, I don't even really know what mortar is.
It's the stuff in between the bricks.
Yeah, so I mean, I know, like, you know, from a military or a
I think that's different.
yeah, it definitely is different. But I don't know how it's. I don't know. I've never seen it.
You have. It's right there.
Right. Okay. But I mean, like, I've never seen it at a retail store. So we're like you're saying, we're working with a century-old term for what retail stores used to look like. But at the same time, I don't really have a better term for you.
Yeah, I would say just like physical.
Physical works.
Use physical. All right, so they basically everyone understands that if GameStop continues.
You ever waited have you ever been there like at midnight for a drop? I know we talked about this when the PS5 came out.
Yeah, for Madden.
Yeah, so great, dude. Those are
probably 2008, the 25th anniversary edition. I definitely
memorable times. I think it was
definitely
03 for me. That's fun.
Was fun. Maybe we'll do it this year.
We got to go to Cece's first.
Got bad news about that.
I know.
Yeah.
I heard they might have had a lifeline. Someone involved in their ownership group actually called the station today while we were talking about their declaration of bankruptcy.
No way.
Yeah.
You got good news for me?
They're trying, man.
I hope so.
I want to go so bad. That
the world
sounds so good right now.
is that
that's probably 1 in 4 podcasts, right?
Is that COVID safe?
Where I stop and think, like, man, I really would love a fresh pie,
like
right now.
The chances of you getting like a pizza made recently and the chances of you getting COVID are about equal at CC's right now, I think.
Yeah, well, one of them's worth it. Right?
So you got like we all understand that brick and mortar retailers are going to fail eventually. Like this is a bad deal. On that basis, like shorting them on that basis makes some amount of sense. It's just like a balance thing, right? Like I would not want to bet my life that GameStop's going to exist in 20 years.
No, I would rather bet that it won't.
Yeah. But it is possible that they'll shut down a lot of stores and do something to make them more online based in a way that is dynamic, you know, like I don't even know what it is, but there's a lot of different ways that like online retailers succeed. Like you would think that Amazon's just going to eat up everything, and like it probably is. But like I think that I think it was them that bought Chewy.com. And then the guy, was a billionaire and had a bunch of money to spend on GameStop and shit like that.
A pet store bought them.
It was a pet store?
I want to say a pet store bought Chewy.com, which made that guy a few $1 billion. But the upshot of it is a dude who clearly knows a lot about how this space works.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if he repeats that, if he gets, GameStop sold to Amazon for a giant amount, then the people betting against GameStop are going to be wrong.
Right.
Like that's a success story.
Yeah.
So you could find a way to, like, they've already got a brand. Like plenty of people have bought games from GameStop. They understand how it works. Oh, another thing is they got a revenue sharing agreement with Microsoft on like any Microsoft Live purchases that, like, I don't know, are tied to them or something. They get a little cut of Xbox Live stuff. So that was another thing that made it so that people legitimately wanted to buy GameStop instead of just fucking around on Reddit.
Troll buying.
Yeah. So you have all these conditions together, and that is what sparks the wildfire and makes it so that it goes from $4 to $340.
To me, it's and I know this has been, everyone has made these comparisons because, and I think also, dude, what's really interesting about this is you've often pined for the days of New Yorker old.
Indeed.
Like before everybody had to write everything about Trump.
Yeah. Obama administration, they would just tell you about like this guy's fucking stamp collection.
Exactly. Or again, we reference a lot the Paris tunnels or the Georgia Guidestones.
There's a dude who reassembled like the first 2 nuclear bombs. And they had a thing on him about how he like made the bombs in his
private hobbyist.
Like it's not like I don't think he doesn't have plutonium, but like just the mechanics of the bombs. Yeah. But just like all the things that aren't like just he's the world's foremost like authority on not nuclear weapons of today, but like the people who make the nuclear weapons of today know how they make those. They don't know how they made, like, what was it? Fat Man and Little Boy. Is that their names?
Yeah, I think you may be right.
There's a New Yorker article on a guy who knows everything that you could possibly know about Fat Man and Little Boy, and that's the kind of shit they need to get back to. So we'll keep. But I think you were making you were correlating that to something else.
Well, I just think that I think there's been a ton written about this situation in the last 5 days, and I'm not sure that would have happened even if Trump had won.
Nature's already
2 weeks
healing.
ago. That's what I'm saying.
Hell yeah, dude.
There's so many takes out here about
Matt
this.
Brunig made that point about the Bernie meme. Like, there's no way that would have the legs if Trump had fucking done so.
Dude, by the way,
it's just good being back in America, back in regular old America.
Do you know about the Bernie meme
Catholics
news?
on top, huh?
Do you know about the Bernie meme news?
No. I know he's selling shirts. Oh, no.
Yeah.
The headline Jake has showed me is the Bernie Mittens meme is now a porn.
And I will tell you, despite what you're thinking, I have not seen it.
Yet.
And I would not lie to you.
No, I believe you.
It was tweeted by...
You should believe me when I tell you I will see it soon.
It was tweeted by an adult performer named L. Hell, who is on OnlyFans, who tweeted the video with a Pornhub link and tweeted, "I'm once again asking you to come."
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's a good joke.
Yeah. Marries a lot of stuff together there. But yeah, I think, I think the economy of takes is correcting itself.
Whenever
and this GameStop story is huge for that.
I was around my dad whenever all the news networks finally flipped to thumbs up. We're going to declare Pennsylvania for Biden and say this is over.
Yeah.
And my dad was, very expressive, talking about the weight off his shoulders and everything. And I was kind of looking at him like, really, dude? Like, I don't know. I get what you're saying, but that's not really my experience. Now that you are making this connection, and like I feel that you're right, like that I can get back to my GameStop shit, it does feel like that weight is just lifting off.
And who knows what's around the next bend?
Back to being me.
It could be any sort of interesting story that you hadn't really considered before,
I hope they find like some new caves or something.
Caves, Somebody's
under the ocean?
Selling guns and mushrooms on something called the Onion Router.
Yeah,
I need those long forms, and I need those long forms ASAP.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, you would think it would, but I thought one thing that was, and again, like I said, this is in all the opinion pieces about it, but that is pretty interesting to me and almost surprising that it took this long to happen. Because like Robinhood, which I think I even did spots for at one point, like that's been out for 4 or 5 years and super, super efficient and lightning fast trading options that lowers the barrier of entry to this sort of.
So I have more to say about them, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like basically taking the blogging, approach to the stock market. That did not happen a year ago. It's been 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the first time that we've ever seen, as it's been described, like a 4chan approach to the stock market. And like, there's an infinite number of people who might be objectionable, offensive scumbags who are also brilliant, who populate Reddit. Like maybe more than maybe more than any other platform. And it was almost like, a bit of a shock to me whenever this all sunk in, that I'm like, they could have done this to a number of companies over the last few years.
I bet that they have, dude. Like, I think that they have. It's just, it hasn't been like this.
Yeah.
And like
just as it keeps growing,
Volkswagen had a similar thing happen. It's just that the person kicking it off wasn't Reddit based. Like it was, I think, a regular
the Porsche
stock
thing.
Yeah, well, it's just like, it was just a short squeeze where like someone had, bet that Volkswagen stock was going to go down. The bet was larger than it should have been. Someone else is like, I bet I could fuck with you here. And then it's a stare down contest. Like that's why the spike is as high as it is.
Yeah.
Like if they're like, okay, well, I guess I lost this short, no big, like pretty quickly, then it's not, And if they'd gotten out at 70, then it would have collapsed at 70.
Right. And the thing about Reddit too, and I think you could see this on just about any sub, is people do feel a lot of times, even whenever they like talk shit to each other, like they're on the same team.
On Reddit?
Yeah. And there's like a communal almost
Kinda,
thing
yeah.
of like, yeah, let's go do it. And we can.
You want to talk about a story that feels like a million years ago? You remember that guy? It was one of the times that we got to fill in, I think, for like the T box. It was whenever Big Tech's burned down. There was a dude that was like fighting for free speech on Reddit, but like
I
he
vaguely remember that.
like his whole deal was just kind of like testing the fence, like, you know, just constantly attempting for just the purpose of illustrating like where the free speech guidelines were. Like, you know, like, is it okay if I talk about how I want to rape? Like,
Yeah,
kind of
I do
stuff.
remember that. Yeah, now that you say that.
And yeah, I just like now that would be coded as an alt-right Trump story, you know,
Yeah.
of like, look at these fucking Trumpers doing this Trump shit again. But Donald Trump wasn't running for president when all this happened, so it was quaint and not that highly covered. Like, if that guy,
Right.
if all that unfolded today, it would like fucking MSNBC would lead with it.
Yeah.
As it was, I think it was, you know, like third story down on Gawker or something.
Yeah, they would try
I
to
think it was a
bury
Gawker piece.
bury the
Might have been
people who had
Deadspin.
money behind it or anything like that.
Yeah. No one's calling advertisers
Yeah.
because of that story.
Yeah, but
whereas
I-
now they certainly would.
I do think I do think there's something to just the idea that it does feel, it does to me, even whenever people are being shitty, feel like it has a populist vibe to it.
Somewhat.
I mean,
Somewhat.
relative to like, you know, I just feel like with Twitter or even Facebook, it's just too disparate.
Everyone on Twitter is my brother.
Well, I don't think
We're in the brotherhood of
you
the
don't
tweeters.
block a brother. I bet I've
Lot-
blocked more people than you now.
A lot of people have blocked their brother. You know, we'll see. Maybe. Probably. You know, because I don't like after
People
my
shorted my blocking, and then
after
I
my
saw a
voice
400%
stopped appearing
increase.
on KTCKAM, the need to block really dropped precipitously. So you're probably right.
Yeah, whereas mine was just, you know,
Has remained static.
it was
if
headed
not
the other
increased.
way. What do you
Yeah.
think about the idea that, and this possibly runs somewhat counter to the populist notion of it, that yes, it's funny right now that dudes who
I have, yeah. My next turn is I'm against the. There is
Yeah.
no populist anything in this. But
right,
keep
like
on going.
You know, on first look, it's like, boy, it's really funny to imagine a guy who is like Tyrell from Mr. Robot and pays a homeless guy to meet him under the bridge so he can punch him in the face 3 times with gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
That guy losing his ass and possibly even losing his life at his own hand. That's a very salacious, like, oh, you know, you got what you deserve type story. It's also like on the flip side of that, kind of interesting to imagine a bunch of people who feel like they've been left out of the system and, you know, fuck the man type making a bunch of money. Also interesting. But it also seems like there's a very real possibility that a bunch of people who are at the 4th level down and are like, oh, this seems like something like they're going to lose a ton of money too. And they might not know what they're doing. Like that people who are just
whatever,
like,
dude.
oh, I mean, maybe, yeah. I'm just saying like somebody's going to end up.
They bought stock. Like,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess it's no different than when somebody goes on, you know, CNBC and just hypes something up for a week on end and then they buy it a super high price and they end up getting fucked on it. But it does seem like when something starts getting covered by the media, like this story is, whether it's now on down to AMC or BlackBerry, a bunch of like regular people who don't really know what they're doing, are going to lose a lot of money. It's not just going to be people that you find to be like morally bankrupt. I don't think, but
yeah, but no one's an innocent in this situation. Like, whatever you're trying, like, you were attempting to describe what you would see as an innocent person here, and like, they just didn't sound that innocent. They had done something, you know, they'd committed an action, buying stock. Like, no one who's like, this has no potential to, you know, like, hurt your grandmother, you know, unless that she decided to buy stock on her own. Like, Melvin Capital Partners is the big fund that went down in all this, and like they don't control your grandmother's retirement. You know, like there's a lot of ways in which the stock market can fuck regular people if it's being run incorrectly. Like that's what the lesson of 2008 was. But hurting a specific hedge fund, like it's not like the stock market in general was shorting GameStop. I don't even really know how that would work. It's just Melvin Capital Partners made this decision. It is hurting Melvin Capital Partners. You are right that if someone chooses to buy a bunch of shares at $3.40 and it drops back to $4 tomorrow, they will lose a bunch of money. But like they made the decision to spend that money, and like no one told them to.
I guess the only scenario where it could end up affecting your grandmother is if this becomes commonplace, and because of the
if
way
you're done
the
with your
internet
money,
works.
you might lose it.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
not...
like, it's not just being done with your money as much as it is like if people just have basic index funds.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's, a degree of volatility. And we've already seen like major volatility, obviously, in the last couple of years with just, I don't know, everything that are inputs to the stock market. But, you could see a situation where if enough different stocks that are part of these funds and portfolios are subject to this, that they could like vanish in a couple of days, and the people who are doing it very laissez-faire and have no idea might like pull up their account and be like, what happened? But you would have to be, I don't know, dozens and dozens and dozens of big companies.
I would like to short the possibility of that happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
That would be my fiduciary
responsibility
call.
to me and everyone listening. Sure.
Okay, so this is because the triggering event was like regular people like on their computer. This is being cast as like a populist thing. And I mean, like, as I established, even Deep Fucking Value doesn't sound like a regular guy to me. But whatever. He's not. Steve Cohen is like involved in there somewhere. Do you know Steve Cohen? I mean,
he was a part of the administration, right?
No.
I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah,
Steve Mnuchin.
Steve Cohen, yes, who just recently had to fire his GM.
That was a hell of a story.
It really was. Talk about something that 4 days later you're like, did that just happen 4 or 5 days ago?
Yeah. But so. That Astros podcast, The Edge, which I enjoyed. Dan recommended it to me, and I listened to it, and I liked it. The final episode, they like kind of take a detour to talk about Steve because they're trying to make a larger point about behavior. And the thing that they're laying out there is that like Steve Cohen operates a hedge fund, so like I'm sure that they have algorithms and things like that. But what he is doing essentially, like, is attempting to properly launder insider information so that he's not the one that takes the fall whenever he makes trades off of it, because he's definitely making trades off of it. Like, he had a whole system of like code words with like all of his employees of so how that they wouldn't have to how confidently do you feel about this? Well, I feel,
it's like a high school kid buying confidence.
Weed. Yeah, like, and so he at some point, certainly plenty of people around him have had to pay fines and go down for this, but I think they nailed him at some point. He's just, he's a shitbag. Big shock. And so it's a guy that worked for him that like then left and started his own thing. That's Melvin Capital Partners. And they've had, I think on average, like a 30% return over the last 5 years.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Stock market goes up an average of 7%. If you can get to, 15, you're feeling pretty fucking great. 30s. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. Maybe a couple companies do 30 every year. I don't like. That's the thing I'm saying. I don't check, but I do know enough to know that Jesus is an accurate reaction to 30%. But yeah, so they make 30. I believe that 30 is what they lost, like 30% over this whole deal. Maybe more at this point. But I think they got out. They got out on Tuesday, and I believe as part of that process. sold off stake in their company, like equity in their fund, in exchange for cash to Steve Cohen. So his firm bought half of it just so they can have enough like actual money on hand to get out and to continue operation.
Stop the bleeding.
Yeah. So they sold it to him, and they sold it to a hedge fund called Citadel. Now, Citadel worked out a little deal. Like you're talking about, Robinhood was a real revolution in how all these things work. Of you could previously do trades like on an app on your phone, but each trade would have a little bit of a price on it, like just to do it, and like just all of it was. I mean, Robinhood is very fucking simple to use, and it did not used to be that way. And you probably ask, if the previous people were asking me for money for these trades, and Robinhood isn't, like, are they just a charity operating here? How do they make money if they're not charging me? Well, one of the ways that Robinhood makes money is they sell their buying information to Citadel. So every time you make a trade on Robinhood, a millisecond before that trade is actually, like before they actually execute the order that you told it to do, they tell Citadel you're doing it. So Citadel, and I mean, like it is a millisecond, but like
it's automated.
Yeah.
And so
Like,
over a large
fast enough
scale,
that the computer is doing it. So it knows before this Robinhood surge, or before this GME surge happens, it sees that it's about to happen. Yeah. So the people who have made the most money off of this is not fucking Reddit users. It's Citadel. And they were the other ones, buying this fucking Melvin shit. So like, it's not like if something happens on the stock market, there is no time under any scenario that the main people benefiting are anything other than hedge fund shitheads.
Even if some of them are also at the same time losing a ton, the main people benefiting from them losing a ton.
Stocks are going up and down.
Other...
It's people who deal in stocks that is affecting. Deep fucking Value got 20 million off of it. So
yeah, but that's nothing compared to
Go With God. But yeah, Citadel got a lot more. I think it was like 3 billion that combined they invested in Melvin. So they had enough that they were just like, 3 billion. Yeah, we got that around. No big deal. BlackRock, I believe, prior to this, has like always owned like 13% of GameStop stock. That's just a coincidental thing of just, they kind of like probably saw the same things that Deep Fucking Value saw of like, it could be that this works out for them. Like they could pivot to being an online retailer and succeed in that.
I always thought that was such a cool name for that fund.
BlackRock, yeah.
Very cool.
No doubt. But yeah, so it's not. I'm very excited that I have made $35, but
wait, isn't that low?
I don't think that this what's that?
Okay,
what
10. Say? You're right. I was gonna say, isn't that low? But no, you're right. Yeah.
Whenever you invest 10 to make 35. You keep doing that a couple times.
In my mind, I was thinking but I guess when you bought, that makes sense. I was thinking you made like $350.
No. If I'd invested 100, I would have.
Then if you had done that, you wouldn't be over here sweating me about the bet. A little bet sweat.
That's just a simple fairness thing. So that's one of the big topics for this week. The other one is just how you think this weekend Super Bowl's halftime show is going to go.
I need to do some reading on.
I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm a fan, dude, and he is in the list or on the list of people that I'm like really enjoyed the earlier stuff more.
Ooh, listen to that most recent album again, dude.
I actually did a couple weeks ago, and it's fantastic.
After banger, after banger.
But like, I don't really understand his face. I thought like maybe somebody was saying that like in his newest video, it's actually
gotta see the video, dude.
Yeah, and
it's so good.
But I don't understand. Like, he's making fun of the fact that he had a ton of plastic surgery, but he also did have a ton of plastic surgery, and that's why his face looks like that. And he's at the VMAs with broken bones. Like, what's going on?
I think it's all just we're fucking around. He's playing with the idea of it.
So he doesn't really look like that.
Correct. He released the picture that I assume is going to pull up on your Google search. That's just a still from the video, and the video is like it's he's playing a character of someone who's got this thing going on, right?
Well, then why does that need to carry over to the Pepsi commercial where his face still looks way different now?
No, that Pepsi commercial, that's how his face looks.
I don't know, man. His face looks different.
I mean, maybe, but it does not look like it does in the video in the Pepsi commercial.
It doesn't look like this one, which is from the video, right?
Yeah, that's the still from the video.
Okay. Now, how do they even do that?
Makeup stuff, I guess. I don't know.
That's
The
not
honest
something I
answer
thought-
is I don't know.
That's not something I thought makeup could have handled.
I
Like
feel
that
makeup
looks
can
like
do
they've
anything.
restructured his face.
I mean, I think
But
they're
you're
just
right. I
adding
also
a
just
lot on
watched
top.
Predator. So I'm the options.
How'd you like it?
Oh my god, dude. So good.
Hell yeah.
So good. I feel like I have a lot of work to do now.
What?
I need
Just
to get
working
into
through all of them?
into the universe a little bit. Yeah, like I was so intrigued.
I don't think it goes up after that. The one that they made like this decade, it's all right, I guess. It's fine, but
I did get some reports that I think it was 2018 that I needed to watch that one, but
okay. Yeah, I
if
mean,
it doesn't have Arnold, I really don't give a shit.
Shane Black wrote it, and he's written some good movies. That was my primary point of excitement about it.
Ooh, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
That's an interesting filmography there for sure. No, that is not the other top story this week.
No, Megan and I were running through a lot of his videos last night, and they're just all so fucking good.
The Weeknd?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
he just,
he's
and
always
like,
taken the visual extremely seriously.
like so serious, and like it's I don't know, dude. It's fucking art. It's great shit. It is great shit. And there's two different. So how much did you like? I didn't watch any of these live, but the award shows this year, in response to the pandemic, appear to have done a lot of wild, creative things.
None.
Okay, but
Yeah.
he's in addition to the videos, he's got two different award show appearances in the last year where it's like playing off the video. Like he's pretty much doing the video live,
Yeah.
but like with other shit.
That's cool.
Like one's in New York, like on the top of a fucking skyscraper. He's just like doing his shit. And then the other one, it's the bridge in LA that you've seen in a million different movies where like it's used in one of the other videos. And he's just like walking along as they've got like a choreographed fireworks thing behind him that's like so fucking dope. It's very good. Highly recommend.
I'd have to go back and watch.
So I'm just calling it right now. I just want people to watch this Super Bowl halftime show and be like, damn, dude, TC was right. This is so fucking dope.
Yeah, I don't think that's like really a hot opinion. I think everyone watches it and most people are like, oh yeah, it's fine.
But I'm just telling you, it's
You
not
need
going
to
to be
go
fine.
beyond fine.
It's gonna be Bruno Mars or better.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Katy Perry?
I thought Bruno's was better than Katie's, in my opinion.
If off the top of your head you had to come up with one, can you think of your favorite musical award show performance ever?
Oh, easy. You know what it is.
What is it?
Fucking bringing homosexuality into the mainstream. Eminem, Elton John, standing on stage together.
See, I was going to go Eminem Without Me. If you remember when he did that one, I'm pretty sure that's the one it was where he started out outside.
No, that's fucking Real Slim Shady.
Is it?
Because it's a million. It's
Yeah, a million-
It's all. Yeah,
just
so
like
that's,
me,
that's
yeah.
the conceit to the song.
But I thought that was incredible. And it made me wonder at the time, like,
And just the casting
damn,
call.
how couldn't I have gotten in on this? Like, I'd bleach
you
my
could
hair,
have.
no problem.
You could have. Yeah.
No problem.
God, it's so fucking good. Yeah.
No,
No, he was doing some stuff back then. You know,
I've been
Will
listening
Smith
to-
doing Wild Wild West live with everyone. Obviously, that was pretty good.
I vaguely remember that, but
It's on YouTube. Don't worry.
I'd love to go back and
I watch a
we should have
lot.
brought that up Friday night.
The Sting and the I'll Be
Puffy.
Missing You. Yeah.
yeah.
I think my wife might be tired of that one.
Yeah. I've been listening to like a dumb amount of Eminem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
no,
the first two albums.
You have my support.
I'm not that big a fan of anything after the Eminem show, but it's just now I know like Dan has done like reports on this before about how rock artists in the 60s and 70s had an uncomfortable amount of lyrics about young girls.
Pedophilia.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
as it would be called by the legal system. And that's all very bad.
Yeah.
But it's not quite as forward as like when I think back to my life 25 to 15 years ago. I cannot believe I was listening to that shit in like junior high and high school.
I mean, like,
because I'm so shocked by a lot of it now, and I love it, but I'm like, there's no chance that I was going to turn out normal.
It did feel like that, though. It felt like that in the moment.
Yeah, like
it was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe he's talking about this.
Like, I'm just laughing along hysterically to this playlist where you've murdered your wife.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how is that going to play when you're that age? I don't know.
The rock stuff, it's like, really, I think that their deeply held opinion was that, like, we got to say this quiet, but we all understand that, like, they're better if they're young, right? Which is fucked up. I do not agree. I feel like their moral calculus needs some reexamination. But, like, I think that they were just, like, singing about what's on their heart, whereas he's actively attempting to, like, think of, like, what is the most extreme thing I can say. Like, he is that fucking guy on Reddit trying to see, like, where are the boundaries. Like, he saw all those people, like, you know, he saw how people reacted to his first album. He felt very oppositional towards them. Like, he felt like, you know, this is, like, he felt how Biggie felt about the people who called the cops on him when he was drug dealing, trying to feed his daughter. You know, like, you are threatening my right to live. Like, fuck off. You know, like, I don't, you know, this might be a fucking joke around column to you, but it's my fucking life. And then so he was just like, all right, if that's the battle I'm in, like, how can I fucking surgically strike the enemy? Yeah. And that's what
a good
the
way to
lyrics
put
are.
it. And I forgot, I was looking at this, that was the same VMAs where he punched Triumph, the insult comic dog, and threatened Moby.
What a performance. What a night. What a night.
Just coming in like, look.
Damn.
Deal with it. No, the other story this week that is like really creepy, and I really don't know how, you know, totally how to make sense of it, was whatever's happening with the Conway family.
Oh, yeah. Got to talk about that.
Yeah.
First note for me was just that all this unfolds in Alpine, New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've heard of it as a well-to-do place, but what am I missing there?
It's the Chris Rock bit. You know the Chris Rock bit, but the first line of the bit is, I live in Alpine, New Jersey.
I do the same voice.
That's right.
Voice. I knew that it was in Bergen County because Bergen County also the home of Census Fail.
Oh, yeah?
A band that I probably still to this day have seen more than any other live.
But I really?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
they came through here a lot?
They did.
Okay.
My band played the side stage for them.
Congratulations.
Once upon a time.
But yeah, so the Kid Rock bit is, you know, that he's like, you
Chris
know,
Rock.
Oh, yeah. Kid Rock's a different
guy.
That
would be a lot funnier, though.
The Chris Rock bit is like, you know, that he lives in Alpine. And, like, so he's like, yeah, you know, you're right. Black people are now allowed to live in elite communities.
But, the like, dentist bit.
I'm Chris Rock, yeah. And, you know, the guy who lives next door to me in a house as big as mine, he's a dentist.
Yeah. Not the greatest dentist.
Yeah. Just a dentist. And I feel like this is proof, right? Like, Kellyanne Conway ain't no fucking Chris Rock. Like, especially prior to the Trump thing. Like, I don't think that they bought the house yesterday.
I'd never heard of her.
Yeah, dude. I mean, she's a pollster.
Yeah.
Name the other pollsters for me.
Frank Luntz.
Like,
he's one I always thought was
pollsters are not fucking famous, dude. You cannot name for me a bunch of Obama or Clinton or Bush pollsters.
No.
But Kellyanne Conway is like on the shows all the time. Yeah, so I just like the fact that a pollster is like has this public a life, like, is in its own way fucking nuts, and like had to be unanticipated by the rest of the family, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what George's deal was. I mean, obviously they're both, you know, in this world.
They live in Alpine.
Right. And I think I first became aware of Claudia. It wasn't the COVID thing. It was before that. Like, she had definitely posted some stuff before about how much she hated her parents.
Yeah.
But then she broke the story that her mom had tested positive for COVID.
That was fun.
While
That was
still
fun.
working in the White House. And that was right after your big day for Notre Dame. The Rose Garden ceremony for
Oh, yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett.
Catholics back on top.
Yeah. And giving everyone COVID in that
There's a price to pay
isolated
for power,
situation.
dude.
Yeah, and like I've read 4 or 5 articles about this and seen this. I don't think it's ever good if a story about your family has these notes: updated 12:15 p.m., update 2 p.m., update 4 p.m. Like
Yeah.
it seems like a lot. And then
More is
also
happening.
So what happened basically was a fleet, which kill me.
I mean, I think immediately before this was her TikTok post about Kellyanne's treatment, or was that where does that slot in timeline wise? She had a compilation. The daughter Claudia had a compilation of clips of her mother saying things like, abortion seems like a good choice in retrospect.
She called her mentally ill.
Yeah.
She made a comment about her
Just
being
calling her daughter a bitch.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It sounded like bad stuff.
And I do think that was preceding it, but then the fleet that appeared from Kellyanne Conway's account was of her daughter topless.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that she had taken, Claudia, and then maybe her mom had saved it. I don't know. I don't think Kellyanne Conway posted that picture is what I'm saying.
I'm with, yeah.
I really don't think
Claudia,
that's what happened.
like, didn't seem shocked that like the picture existed. Like, and I still haven't, and hope never to see the photo. So I can't tell. Like, maybe it's obvious from it that she knows that it's being taken, but like,
Dude, right now, neither one of us have seen the Bernie Mitten porn, and neither one of us have seen the Claudia Conway porn or sext pic. So arguably, the most morally strong that this podcast has been in some time in one episode.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I'm gonna see one of those, and I'm never gonna see the other.
Yes. But yeah, so she had said something like, my mom must have been going through my phone.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, just think this through. Like, she has to know that if she posts that on Twitter, that she's going to jail.
Yes, but I would also think that she probably would want to know that as a very public person and someone that a lot of people don't like, she is at a higher risk of being hacked. And I would say I do not want anything.
Yeah, no, I would not have a fucking nude of my daughter on my phone under any
circumstance.
No.
The move is
But there's a lot of things I wouldn't do.
She deletes it.
Kelly
you make her delete it. We act like this never happened. We learn from it, move on. But you definitely do not want it on your camera roll, given how many people
No.
are out to get you. But the upshot of it is, though, the cops are involved.
Yeah, I mean, gotta be, dude. Someone needs to get to the bottom of this. Fucking child porn was disseminated. Not okay.
Pretty much, yeah. And then the other extremely wild element of the story was that I guess Claudia knows Morse code.
Impressive.
Yeah. She tweeted out, I'm literally at a loss for... Oh, this is on TikTok. I'm literally at a loss for words. If you see it, report it. The TikToks have been deleted, but were reshared by concerned fans. I don't know if you do that. I mean, they're not resharing the original photo. They're amplifying her message. She said, please get people to talk about this. She wrote that in Morse code in the comments.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean,
Is there
look,
anything else?
Look, here's what it looks like. I mean, she's literally a high school sophomore sending out distress signals on social media using, I guess, text Morse code.
But the Morse code is just to say, get people to talk about how this isn't cool.
Yeah, like that's we need to spread awareness and
I just wonder, like, because
feels a little extra.
The joke in the group text about this was that the most recent one where she's like, hey, too much drama in my family. I'm going off social media. Everyone, please just be chill. No one report my mom. Like, that kind of stuff. The joke in the group text was that George is just off camera holding a gun to her head.
Yes.
Like, keeps saying it. So I wonder if she's like attempting to tell you that. I mean, surely people would have figured this out by now if she's like blinking her eyes at the Morse code in that video or something. But that is where my mind goes.
Yeah, and I mean, look, she's got she's had no compunction about burning her parents publicly in the past. So I would think if she's alone in a room with, an Alpine detective, they're not safe if she has something to say.
Yeah.
But in any case, I don't know. This is a very weird story. And as I said to you the other day, and I may have heard this line a couple years ago and just stole it as my own, but it did feel like a day of like, all right, here's Claudia Conway nude. Maybe her mom is going to jail for pedophilia. Here's whatever's happening with GameStop and AMC. Here's TC and Phillip, very fired up. Like, it does feel like you get a full verse of "We Didn't Start the Fire" every week now.
That's true.
And here's the really great thing about it. Next week, this same time, it's going to be like 4 or 5 other things that could be like a whole stanza, and you don't have any idea what they're going to be right now.
I can't wait. I just can't wait to see how Ja Rule is involved.
It's so true. All right, well, shout out to my neighbors and their pool. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one,
I'm TC and Jake.
We do thank you for watching. Good night.